Hello everyone. In this video we are going to see the data analysis using a Python. And in a Python we have a pandas library to analyze the data. So pandas is a one kind of model, one kind of library which works on the data set, and it has a function to analyze, to clean, to explore and to manipulate the data. The requirement of data analysis is to find the insights of the data, to get the trends of the data, so that we can use that trends and that insights in the business in the business perspective. So for we are going to start with the coding, because this tutorial or this video is more focuses on the coding. For first I am telling you कि here I used the tips dataset which is available inside the Seaborn library. It's an inbuilt dataset. We are not going to read any external file. We are using the inbuilt dataset which is available inside the Seaborn, because we are more focusing on the function, not on the dataset. So we have a function load underscore dataset, and in that you need to pass the dataset name, which automatically load your entire dataset from the Seaborn library to your system. After writing the code, we need to click on run option, which is available with this arrow. After that we have a function, the tips.head. Tips is the name of my dataset which is given by me only. You can give any relative name to the dataset. Tips.head, and inside that I have written the 4. It means it returns me the first 4 rows of my dataset. You can see the indexing start from the 0 and it ends at the 3, means 0 1 2 3. This first 4 rows it returns me from the dataset. Likewise, the tell function which returns you the last 5 rows of your dataset. Now make a note, guys, ki if you are not mentioning any number inside the bracket, by default it returns you the 5 count or the 5 rows from the dataset, first 5 or the last 5. If you are using the head function, it returns you the first 5 rows. If you are using the tell function, it returns you the last 5 rows. The next we have an info function which returns you the description about your data. Description in terms of which kind of data is there, how many entries are there, their starting and the terminating count, total number of column, the name of the columns, the null values count, and the data type, the column wise data type. So easily you can see over here the total bill and tip. These two are from the quantitative column, that is the float 64 value they are containing, and all rest of the variables are your categorical one. The next we have a tips.shed which returns you the number of rows and columns available inside your data. The tips.columns returns you the list of all the column names which are available inside your dataset. The isNull function, we use this isNull function to get the null values, the location of the null values from your dataset. So basically it returns you the matrix. In that matrix, if any null value is there in your dataset, it returns you the true value. But for this dataset is not containing such null values, so it returns all the false boolean value over here. Again we have a one more function, that is the sum function. So isNull.sum which returns you the column wise count of the null values, Then we have a describe function, tips.describe, which returns the description of the quantitative columns in terms of mean value, that is the average, standard deviation, minimum value, 25% data, 50%, that is the first quartile, second quartile, and the maximum value. This function is used, describe function is used for the quantitative data, whereas the value counts is used for the qualitative data. If you have a qualitative, that is the categorical variable, then you can use the value underscore count function, which returns you the label wise count of categorical column. So in a day column we have these 4 unique values, and accordingly it returns you the count, how many rows are referring the Saturday's data, how many rows are referring the Sunday's data. Then we have a group by function, same as our SQL. if you know about the sequel, so in a group by function we are making the group on this day column, and in that day column I'm just interested to see the values of the Friday rows, the billings which are generated by the Friday only. So in a get underscore group I need to mention the Friday, so easily you can say the all the listed values are containing only Friday's data. Okay, the next size is the same function I have used over here to get the size. Then the sample function tips.sample 5, it returns you any random rows from your data set. So now just look at over here, the right now it's showing me 29 and the 75 number row, but if I click one more time it returns me 23 and 177 number row. The nUnique function, it returns you the unique value count of that data set. Again it is working for the categorical column. So right now we'll stop over here. The remaining function, the advanced function for the data analysis, we'll see in the next video. Bye bye everyone.